then. Hello there, you all. This is a Gotcha Cast episode 2. I don't know the reason we were called Dice Gotcha in the first, but what do you do? Hello there, I'm Dead Fun, and I'm sure the rest here will self-introduce. Uh,
Hello, I'm Yuri with.
Yeah, I'm Isaiah. I'm Isaiah.
okay,
I had to check.
your Flash, actually.
Okay, what
But
now?
then you.
Wonderful.
Hi, I'm Calligrapher, otherwise known as Cal.
Okay, then. So with this, what were you trying to say, Yuri?
Anyway, what are we here with today?
Yeah, Yuri, why are we here?
Was hoping you would actually tell me instead.
What if I don't feel like it?
Well, then, as I say, I suck more than you. But here
What's
today,
the? I don't
but
know what
today we're
this
here to
bit
talk
is.
about Isekai. Now, see, I actually like Isekai. Well, half the time, some the times, certain series. Anyway, I like certain Isekais, and well, I've been on the side to fight for Isekai, just like Goku in humanity. Along with my partner.
I don't know if I'm fighting for the side of Isekai. I'll be so real with you. I might switch sides.
You are on.
Do
You
I?
can't.
Okay, never mind. I will pull a solo 3v1.
Okay, allow me to say, I hope Yuri, when you made that comment, my RTC decided to kill itself, and I did not have the past, 5 minutes heard. But still, yeah, we're here to
God.
debate Isekai.
Hey, Dead Fun, can you explain what an Isekai is for the people who don't know?
There is a broad and narrow definition with this. The broad definition being that an isekai will be when you travel into a different world, uh, normally from your own. But in this discussion, the main isekai we're going to have discussed is going to be the anime genre called, well, some call it a genre, some call it a subgenre. It'll be called a isekai, and it'll be a different anime and different manga and different novels getting called a isekai since the main characters are getting sent into a different world. That is going to be the main discussion point with this. Yeah, you like how I cut you off? I got it.
All right.
I hope you all know Flash is gonna come in here and be like, did you know that Mario and Sonic they're actually isekai in this discussion?
Oh,
I'm
I was gonna mention
They
the first
are.
Isekai, a New York Yankee in King Arthur's court.
nipping these in the bud.
You can't do that.
Oh, I just did.
All right, and I don't think I was heard, but once again, not my first time.
You were heard. I just didn't understand the joke, so I just.
Neither did I, so I
Acknowledge it.
ignored it.
It's an actual movie. It's the first kind of Isekai genre actually really made or written before too.
Wasn't that Alice in Wonderland or something?
No, it was not.
Really?
You look it up.
We as humans seem to really like getting sent into different worlds. So with
Mainly
this, we
enough
decided,
because we hate the one that we actually live in.
well, we'll be getting
Well,
into
I want to say that's more of a trope of the recent shift in the genre, but kind of.
I really wouldn't say that actually. Isekai has been happening for a long while.
Well, I more so mean, okay, so there was a clear pivot in I want to say the last decade or so, maybe a decade and a half, where the earlier anime isekai genre, there was an incentive to go home. A lot of times the protagonist was fighting to get back to their world. But there's been a clear pivot and shift, especially in the last decade, where the discussion of going back home is rarely ever discussed in isekais anymore, where it doesn't even seem like a thought anymore, which honestly makes me kind of sad because I truly feel that's what a lot of isekais are missing, is that overarching goal in that aspect.
hey, don't steal my points.
That's
Or
crazy.
that, or the other, or others have the ability where they can go between. I can't talk between both worlds.
When my RTC disconnected, did Yuri explain that we were gonna be in
I did.
two different? Okay, then. Well, then. I'm gonna assume you.
I also explained how. Also, Cal mentioned that they might want to swap sides, so I might have to pull a Gohan in DBZ.
Okay, then. Well,
What?
Cal, you don't have permission to switch teams.
I am a freelancer. I will switch between them as I please.
No, wait. No, you can't. If that could be done, then literally everyone will.
I'm the exception.
No, you're not.
No, you're not.
Listen, if it's a 2v2 or 3v, I can take whatever I can take.
Decided on a 2-1.
Really?
Okay, whatever. I think I want to be a freelancer, but I guess this is a dictatorship.
I'm gonna
Back
state
on your
my stance
game.
right here. Okay, well, first of all, Cal, leave, go back to Xander's side. And second of all, I like isekai anime. Well, I like a handful of isekai anime. The rest aren't very good. That's why I'm on Dead's side. Also, he actually did research.
Crazy work. Okay, then. So, like, hey, I'll state my position as well. I want to have a couple stuff be said first. Naturally, I know we discussed this a little bit in like what was pre-recorded, not like specifically in this call, but like in the past conversations. But I sort of want to restate certain stuff. First, the fact that like there's just like two different points that I just want to like say to you both and the audience. So first, when it comes to if you don't like it, don't watch it. This is dumb and prevents all media criticism. Naturally, we think that media criticism has some worth and some value since like we have like review channels and shit. And I think it's sort of dumb to just say like don't watch it if you don't like it. I have complaints as written down here in my notes. Say as well with this, naturally there are some good isekai that I'm even going to mention in this discussion. Some isekai are, I think, like top 10 my favorite series. But like in this discussion, I think it'll be
And I
I
also
think
will mention some and I also will mention some that are actually really bad, even though I am defending them too.
but like in general, I am not happy with the direction the genre has taken, and I'm going to express that within this discussion. If you two have stuff that you want to say, like pre-discussion, I guess now's your time.
So,
Cal,
okay.
you're first.
So the reason I want to be a freelancer specifically is because this is gonna be counterintuitive. I love the genre, but I love it because it's bad, and I can't explain it. It's my guilty pleasure. It's something I
I
watch
understand.
more so just to watch. Listen, there's a reason I fell in love with I Was Reborn as a Vending Machine, okay? It's really
I knew he was gonna bring that
stupid.
up.
It
Please
was really
never remind me
stupid.
of my trauma, my pain, you
I
motherfucker.
told you,
It was
Dad. I told
really
you he was gonna bring up the
stupid,
anime.
but the concept is very entertaining to me. Although I will say I dropped the second season because it was really bad.
For context, a certain motherfucker made me watch that series in here before.
Wait, you
Oh.
actually?
Yeah,
Yes.
this was
That's
Yeah,
a
he told
deal
us
we
Dex was
made.
dead now.
I had to watch like a 3-hour Common Writer video in exchange for him watching the first season of the Vending Machine
And
anime.
he remembers nothing about the
Ooh.
video.
This is true. I was kind
will
of
say,
zoned out
by
for
the way,
most of it.
I did want to mention really fast as well. We have these topics discussed not like a full week, but like 5-6 days before it's recorded. And I didn't know shit when it came to this freelance stuff, and we're not gonna switch it up now, like final minute, like fine.
But that's what makes it so entertaining.
No, it's that way you can scurry out of fucking positions. The fun here is that I'm gonna crush
That's-
you. But still, I don't want to hold this up anymore now. So pretty much, the general format I wanted us to have is that okay. Do you two have points that you want to make with this? Do you want me to make all the points and then you have responses to them?
I would like it if you make the points and we respond to them, if you do not mind.
Okay, then. Flash, are you fine with sticking with the general stuff we have written down?
Huh.
We have 5 different discussion points. Me and Flash drafted up, and so with this,
Fine.
are we each ready to begin?
Well, yeah, I'm ready. Are you ready, Cal?
Eh.
All right, this is gonna be fun. All right, let's start.
Good to see you're enthusiastic, so pretty much, the first point that me and Flash have will be the genre has oversaturation. There's way too much getting made now, and it's way too much of the same stuff. With this, I have 2 different graphs to accompany my points that I think will be good to see. This will be how the genre has trended when it comes to search results. And by the way, I'll put these up on the screen in like post. And then these are the amount the genre is getting made now. On it's like a 6-month basis. The chart has the chart. And so with this, you can notice that like back in the 90s to beginning 2000s, there was it was like 4 to 6 getting made each 6 months. It was still like a good amount, but it wasn't like a crazy amount. Now we're getting like 30 each 6 months. General points I want to hit on with this, so that you two can, naturally have responses to, will be that the stuff you can see here on this graph, as well as the fact that this genre is, with how many are getting made, it feels like it's the same general stuff. I'm getting hit by a truck. I'm
Quick dumb question. Is this like including like any like new seasons for the graph or just like each like made each year?
It's how many are getting a release day each 6 months, but I can search up to see if they counted second seasons and the like. If
All
you'll
right,
give
all
me,
right. I only asked like it's. I don't know why my brain asked that question. It felt obvious. I don't know. Like,
No,
I don't know.
it's a valid question because you have to think, like, let's just say in like 2022, there are 23. It's very possible that in 2024, wait, is that 20? I don't know. Either way, with the 23 one, it's very possible that half of those could be ones that have already been released that got a second season, and there's only been half of that that's been made.
but I'll say even if some here are follow-ups, there was a statistic written down from the same article where it'll say that upward to 15% from the isekai genre was like all a new TV anime made. All a new TV. And that feels a little ridiculous, especially with how samey many of the concepts are. It feels like, but you too, I think it's sort of weird as well with how like much oversaturation there is. I don't know if there's like stuff in different anime that's comparable to like. It's sort of weird how terms like cheat abilities and stuff like getting hit by a truck are sort of normal.
Now, once again, there are
Yeah.
some unique ones. Like for example, farming another life. It's not an actual one. It's a nice kind of slice of life, which I would almost anyone. A lot of that has been like an easy excuse out of like, oh, why is the MC so strong? For example, a pet tamer anime. Like I can't remember like the name, like pet tamer ability, or I picked up some S rank skills or like that. Like I could see all that fair points, but like there are also some unique ones. Like for example, farm another life, which is a really great anime where the NC's power is just like all farming based with like a holy hand tool. It's what the issue has been like an over saturation of genre action slop, which isn't which isn't
Yeah.
terrible. It's actions can be wonderful, but if it's just like a unique thing of like insert like Mad Lad skip like insert
Yuri,
I was
like
yes.
you know that farming life in a different world's like slop as well, correct?
Shut your fucking whore mouth.
It,
You're
I'm looking at the front. I'm looking at the front, and what's this I see? I see an elf. I see a
it
black-haired
is
imp.
Oh, don't get me
it is
started about
not.
the elves.
It is not dead. It is a farming anime. It's slice of life. I listen, I would highly recommend it. I loved it 100%. I watched it with a friend. They were expecting people to die. No one really died. It was a really
All right,
nice, wholesome anime to watch.
I looked this up, and there are 9 different anime that are on farming.
Yeah, what you call it? That's
Ooh.
what I find really funny about that statement.
I only know about the
I'm
one.
not.
I'm gonna be honest.
Slice of life isekai anime, I think, are the best type because there isn't like a set thing that you need to do in it. Like in action types, you're like some, oh, we need to defeat the Demon King or whatever. But in slice of life ones, it's just people living their lives. So I think
True,
that's more
true. Now,
interesting.
granted, like
Uh,
yes. Now, granted, as I was like back my point of like yes, sometimes this guy can just feel like a Mad Lad clip, like insert like hi, my name is insert name here. I have insert ability here. I'm here to fight insert thing here. Where it's felt just like that. Now there are other like amazing and like isekai series, like let's get Farming Life, or like for example Konosuba, where yes, it can feel action, but it has like charm to it. Am I not wrong? Because I know someone here does like it.
okay.
I think Konosuba is
It's
one of the
really
good
good.
ones. What is it?
Konosuba is really good. However, dead. I would like to discuss the actual topic you brought up with oversaturation.
That is.
Oh,
I'm sort of get. No, I think that's a little. Okay, but continue.
So I'm also gonna bring up another controversial media type that's been coming out in recent years. That being live action remakes. And
Oof.
hold on, it makes sense.
Picture you have a more broad point with this, so like carry on.
So I completely get your argument for oversaturation that there's too many coming out currently. Just like how a lot of people dislike live actions and they constantly bring them out. People say they're soulless and such. However, live action remakes make a lot of money. For example, the newest one, that being Lilo and Stitch, if I'm not mistaken, broke about $1 billion in the box office. It was a massive success. The issue here is that we have the same thing happening with Isekai, where the lowest of the low Isekais that like have like the most stereotypical concept known to man are pulling in as many, if not a little more viewership than, let's say, a brand new concept that's being released.
I feel like that's for, well, they both have the same answer. Okay. Isekai is like mainly for like, okay. Disney remakes for like Lilo and Stitch are only liked by the children who watch the movies, unless like they're the rare few live action adaptations that are good. And Isekai has that same demographic, like a 12-year-old child likes them. Oh, look at that guy, that's cool. The people who like Isekai are probably the same type of people who think Solo Leveling should have won Anime of the Year. I feel like they're just children who think that it's cool, which is why I think that it gets so many people to watch.
Fair enough, but I do believe it's like kind of like a supply and demand situation right now, where like they all get fairly high viewership. Like I said, like the lowest of the low gets good viewership. So of course, in turn, they're gonna release more if there's still like demand for it.
So I'm getting what you mean, and I did think on this, so like pre-discussion on how we're in like a market society, and it's like if there wasn't some demand with this, say they won't have been getting made. You know, that's naturally like just a fact on the world that we live in. But I
Sure.
will say, I'll say as well, that doesn't make oversaturation good. All that means will be that it has like some reason behind it. And I'll say too, my problem isn't like necessarily that the isekai genre is like it has an oversaturation sense. Like it could be a very broad genre. All that happens is that you're getting sent into a different world. That there is many different options you have, but it feels like most of the genre is just sort of this Final Fantasy-ish, Dragon Quest-ish type setup that is essentially supposed to like, you see, I have a point system and I can level up, and there are slimes and dragons that I can kill. Yes. It won't even be the oversaturation itself, and more so how little it feels like anime manga do with it.
Getting sent to another world should be different, not just medieval society. Like toss them into the future. That would be interesting. Like toss them to an alternate reality where it's just the same, but there's like very slight differences. Like that would be an interesting thing, but it's just same fantasy over and over.
Now, once again, I can't say much about that. There has been it's been most like, because whenever we think of isekai, we always think of like fantasy with isekai. Like I can't like now. I correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think there's little to no like isekais that you described, which I cannot lie, which would be a really cool concept and really good. But it's a thing of like whenever but once again, like it's isekais with that are like easier more to like somewhat do. Like God, name example. Salesman. Fudge, I had the title in my hand.
The salesman one, where it's a businessman who gets
Yes.
transported, and the
Is
whole
this a
concept
drugstore
is
one?
No, it is
No.
basically a businessman gets transported into the demon's court army, and becomes a general. It's once again another series I would highly recommend actually watching. It's really different. It is another like comedy more isekai.
I've read that manga up to its current scanlations. By the way, that's what we in the in the manga world
God.
scan translations.
I
No,
take
You
that,
did not
taking that
just
calling you a
do the
nerd.
calc bit. You did not just do the calc bit. I'm going to die.
I'm using
Now once
calc.
again,
That's slang for
But
calculator.
like getting into this, I am so sorry, Yuri. It's very concept where you're put into the demon army. I guess the way they sort of, well, actually, I guess they didn't really switch it up too much. All they did was like combine two different tropes that are like pretty normal still. It was like one trope is that MC has a thing they're good at, and so it translates into the new world. And then the second trope will be getting put into the demon army.
True,
The
but
fact,
it's a thing of it's still. But once again, it's a thing of like not have like the insert like random bullshit here of like, oh, here's like I gained this like random ass rank ability. It's like once again
Uh,
none of the isekai without that thing, which can show like
okay, does he have
like certain isekais can learn that. Like can
does he have
be
any
better without that.
abilities?
I mean, he's a good
Does he have any abilities?
he's a good businessman. It's simple as that.
So
pretty much,
he's like the Subaru Kazuma type where they don't have any powers and they just have to like work off of.
Yeah.
Well, Kazuma does have powers. He's just weak, but
The answer is
uses
yes.
intelligence to his
Yeah,
advantage.
his skills from the other world. God, I cannot talk today. Which honestly enough, those isekais can be wonderful if they're well written and not just over generated slop.
Okay, I'm so sorry, Yuri. As someone who watched the anime, um,
it's pretty slow.
yeah, it's pretty slop. I'm gonna be honest. Like, it definitely has a different concept, but it's 100% slop. That was a part of like one of my isekai binge sessions, and I was watching it week to week until like I low key wasn't. I think I got to like episode 6 or 7, and then I dropped it because again, the concept is definitely different, but it's still in the slop category. I would just say it's like slop with a little bit of seasoning on it. Like, I'm so sorry, Yuri.
That's really the 3v1, isn't it?
I guess the oversaturation point has been made, and so
Yeah.
I'll say with it. Yeah, I guess I want to move into stuff that's a bit more up in the that can be discussed. So Flash, with that, I don't know, you don't gotta have it be point two specifically. You can just choose one and run with it.
So I can choose like whichever one I want.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me, what's the plot of Ray Zero? What does Bro do?
I
Okay,
have
can
not
I?
seen that.
He,
I haven't seen it either. However,
oh
what you
yeah.
call it?
Oh God.
I do want to say from what. Okay, can I go based what I've heard because
Yeah.
I am very into the isekai genre, so of course that comes up a lot. From what I can tell, and what makes ReZero really good is that it's less of like, let's just say, a stereotypical slop fest where it's guy is transported to another world, has OP powers, and their mission is to like defeat the Demon King or whatever. From what I can tell, Isekai has not Isekai, ReZero has some other tropes, but what really brings it in is that it's more of a character focused series where we see the torment and what the MC went through in their original life and why they don't really want to go back home and why this was such a relief when they first got transported. Is this roughly correct? I don't know. I haven't seen it.
No, I mean, what's the plot? Not what
Oh, then
happens
I don't
eventually.
know.
What's the plot? What's his end goal?
I don't know.
I suppose name
That's
a different example then.
mm,
It's an example you think Cal and Yuri
okay.
here are both gonna know.
Okay.
Hey,
Uh,
Flash, you can mention that example.
yeah, I think I cooked myself. Okay. I'm gonna stop with hypotheticals. A lot of isekai don't really have much of a end goal. Sometimes they just show up and just do stuff. Like, in that time I got reincarnated as slime, Rimuru doesn't really have a goal unless you count protecting the place where he lives as a goal. But that's like the most generic goal ever.
No, if I'm not mistaken, his
So,
like ultimate goal is to create peace among all the races and to make his like kingdom like one of like the big standing ones so that his friends and like monsters and humans can coexist peacefully and such.
That is
mm,
vague. That is vague.
that's again very generic. They want peace so their friends can be like safe and stuff. That's very generic. My whole point is that like the goals are either defeat the Demon King, keep your friends safe, or that's about it. Like there are very few where the whole point is that the person doesn't really want to do much. Like in God, that's a long title.
As you
And
said,
I've been
in
killing
the
slimes for 300 years. Like the whole point of that show is
mm,
not having a goal, is to be living a peaceful life.
I'll mention as well what you said
But
in this session before, like Flash here. You said that many in the isekai genre did have a goal where it's like I want to return to my home now. But the problem is that now we've sort of done away with that generally, and more so it's just some like Yeah, as Flash said, pretty vague stuff. What you were saying,
Good fun.
Flash.
How dare you bring up something that I brought up against me? Okay, that's not how a debate works. Thank you very much.
That
I
really
don't like that.
is. That is very much how it
No, a
works.
debate is scripted, and there's a clear winner and loser in the debate. Okay, that's how
Well, once
debates
again,
work.
like once again, when it comes to like Isekai, like as I said earlier, it is a Mad Labs of insert the endings here. But once again, it's there are like two distinct like there are like distinct Isekais. Like there is the general slop. Like for God, like I can't think of name, but there's so many more examples. And yes, it is a bit more rare to get an Isekai where you can remember a lot more of the stuff for it. But when it comes like the general like schlop of like the defeating the demon army, yes, it can be generic, but as generic as it can be,
Okay,
it's a
Zan,
yes.
allow me to say this. Name us 3 different isekai that don't have this generic slop formula.
Let's see, farming another life.
Okay, then what's the goal they have in there?
Easy. Make their village an actual town.
That
And
isn't
well,
a
at the end of the series, they actually accomplish it.
Oh, so it's
Spoilers?
like again, like it's like with Rimuru, where he's trying to build up his whole country,
It's a
or
thing of
it's like in another isekai. Like there's another isekai where a dude gets transported from another world, he becomes king, and like basically becomes king of like everything by the end of the series.
but,
well,
like,
for,
Like
what's up?
it's a very generic formula, Xander. Try again.
was gonna name. I was gonna say what I was gonna like actually finish, but then you interrupt me. You words I cannot say for 200.
Okay, then they did an interruption. Continue with your point. Continue.
Well, yes, Flash did say at the beginning of like it is like a thing of where yes they do want to become protect their friends, but it's more of like we see like the actual like, journey of it, like the progression of it. When it comes like to
We don't-
most isekai, but when it comes like most like other like generic isekai slop, it's like the haha my skills, it's kicking in my abilities, it's sugoi and bull crap like that, which I'm gonna be honest really should be just be like the generic isekai slop that people just kind of I don't want to say disregard, but go like, yeah, no, that exists.
We're not looking
Uh,
to. Path could be as different as you want, but what like we mean to say is actual. What we're looking to find is like the goal you come upon. You sort of like sidestep the point. And as I said, I'm still waiting on.
I was getting up my other two. I was just actually explaining that one first. Jesus. My other
uh,
2 points.
also,
Cal,
the whole not having powers isn't really. I'm gonna bring up Subaru again. He has like basically nothing until he actually like beats up a guy and like gets his power. That's like
I want to rope you back in as well,
yeah.
yo, Cal, to make sure you don't have some. You said you did like binge some. Is there like some isekai with a goal?
What you call it? Most I find don't. Okay, so the goal they have is pretty stereotypical. If you want a couple examples that have like a different type of goal, one that comes to mind is Moonlit Fantasy, which I guess technically has a demon lord, but not really. Essentially, the premise in Moonlit Fantasy is that the MC was transported from another world and met the goddess of that world, who disliked him because of how he looked, because he looks like demi-humans essentially in that world, and because of it he is essentially discarded with it. So for a while his goal is to kind of just like have a peaceful life here. However, due to circumstances, his goal kind of changes into wanting to basically defeat the goddess, which is still like a similar premise to like defeating the demon lord. I would say it's done better though because there's personal vendetta against it. And honestly, I would put Moonlit Fantasy in one of the non-total slop ones, since I think it's more of a character journey than it is like a story journey, which is what I like to find in Isekai specifically.
So you mean it was like a betrayal, you could say?
Yes, it was a betrayal, you could say.
Okay then.
Could you really say
That's true.
betrayal? I don't know,
I
actually. Plus, what I will say with that I do enjoy is that the concept of the real world is brought into play. I think that is my one of my biggest complaints with modern isekai is that we don't really get to see who the character was before they were isekai. I think putting a normal person into a different world should have aspects and layers to it where I think a person who just wants to stay and have no like desire to go home or have no real implications to the real world is kind of boring. which is like why I latch onto certain aspects to isekai a lot. For like I said, Moonlit Fantasy, other characters from our world also get isekai'd, and we get to see why they want to stay and why they want to go home for different reasons. Another one I will say is very controversial, a very controversial anime is
Hmm.
Jobless Reincarnation.
Ooh,
Oh, you don't want to mention
this
this
sounds
anime.
like
You
ooh,
don't.
this sounds like a pretty good segue.
Let's
But in
segue. Let's
fairness,
go.
Dead. Okay, this brings us perfectly to the next subject, which is degenerate main characters.
Yeah.
okay, wait, no, this is well, actually, that's partially it. But like, I want to add on to like what Flash said, where it's like it's more than that they're degenerate. It'll be that the community as well as a source material itself will seem to have the degeneracy be cheered on.
Okay. This is not going to help my point. I know exactly why this is.
But Flash, if you want to explain some of the examples that we have.
Okay, so to say why degenerate main characters are not very good, there's a okay isekai. It's basically made for people to like latch onto a character like them. He's just like me. Now,
This is yeah.
with characters like these, if it, it's not,
It's not good
if
morally to
you,
be like, I want to be this
yeah,
person.
it's a whole thing.
Biggest example that we have will be Ainz from Overlord, a person that will seem to have a generally good reputation within the community, as much as they're like a terrible, shitty person. And I
He's
haven't
my
seen a good
goat
point to why.
Ooh,
because he's cool.
That it.
do you support what he and his goons do?
I'm
Yeah,
gonna be real.
okay.
I haven't watched past like season. I think season 2. I think I got halfway through there. So far, at least where I'm at in the series, he hasn't done too much fucked up shit. I think the most fucked up thing he's done so far is like make a race fight each other to take the strongest from them. But they were lizard men, so
Pretty
they're barely
bad.
human. So like it's
No, what?
fine.
You're a skeleton, bro.
They had
The entire
feel, they had
the
feelings, bro. They
Listen,
no,
if they're
they
not
entire
no. The
human,
only
they
thing that
don't
made
have
them not human.
feelings.
No, the only thing
I
that made them not human was the way they looked. Are you saying people who look
exactly.
different aren't human?
Yeah.
Oh, you're saying
If
that?
you don't look
Okay,
if you don't look
okay.
like a
Cancel
human, you're
him.
not if you don't look like a human, I'm sorry. I just don't think you're a person. I think what defines a
Go
person
kick a
is them
dog.
being human.
But you
No,
don't
I
think
can't
Ainz
kick
and
a
the
Go kick a
entire
dog right now.
no wait, hold on, no wait, hold on. Ainz and the entire cast they have aren't human, and most don't look human.
They look human like,
Most
so
do
it's close
actually.
enough what you call it. So if they look human like Ainz is basically a human skeleton, so he gets the pass. But lizardmen, that's a completely different physiology. Like that's taking it too far. I'm so sorry.
Okay,
Okay, so you are saying you support what Ainz does, everything that he and his goons does, including rape, murder, torture, all of it. You
One,
support
I
all of that,
didn't say
Cal?
this. I just said.
Yes, you
Okay,
did.
okay, first of
You
all,
said
you're
you support
twittering
everything he
me.
does.
I said where I'm at in the
Okay.
series. That's the most messed up thing he's done. I don't know what he's done past that. And I just said I think lizardmen are lesser than human beings. That's all I said.
You you hear what he's saying, everybody?
I want to.
Put
This is, yo, clip that
our,
chat.
our
I
two
also want.
viewers are gonna let you hear this.
God, okay, bringing back to the actual point of isekai. I think like we're like well, I can at least like can find like a somewhat answer for the why everything goes back to medieval kind of thing was well with like the first few isekai was a New York Yankee in King Arthur's court. It was a fantasy based like it was like a fantasy based movie where once again like all of us like everyone goes back to that for isekai no matter what, which there should be a lot more stuff for the
I'm
actual
telling you here,
actual thing.
Yuri. I'm telling
Yeah.
you, Yuri. What slop manga writers make new stuff? They are not looking to King Arthur's court. They're looking to what can I make to make money. To make
I'm so sorry you
There-
keep bringing this up and I don't know what it is and I don't think many people know what it is. I'm pretty sure the reason they do
Also,
fantasy is because it's what's popular in the genre right now. I think they would
God,
more likely go to popular isekai than ever to that specific media type.
Hal, you
slopification.
are just on our side. You are just on our
They've been
side.
trying. They've been
this
trying.
really is a fucking 3v1.
It's more like
I
a
really have been. Okay, I'm so sorry. It's really hard to defend isekai. Okay, like we're fighting an uphill battle here.
I think it's more like 2-on-1-on-1. But like a but now getting back. Okay then. So like, do you two believe there's a villainous MC within like an isekai that is like done well.
Just to clarify, do you mean an MC who is like clearly a villain, or like okay? Here, if you don't, I can't think of any on the top of my head if I'm being honest. Because like again, the MC being like the villain usually isn't done in isekais very often. Because again, it's more so
I
meant to
can
be in
name
a
you-
what you call it.
I can name you 8 different series.
Go for it.
Okay then. Well, first we have Overlord, as we said. We have My Next Life as a Villainess. We have a Bureaucrat 2
Wait a
Villainous.
second. Stop.
What's up, Flash?
Uh, My Next Life is a Villainous.
Yeah.
Let me check before I make myself look stupid.
Nah, you're good.
Let's see. Where is it?
If I'm not mistaken, isn't that more like a comedy
Okay.
isekai?
Yeah, and also she's not a villain. She got
Yeah.
reincarnated into the body of the villain of the story that she was going into.
Well, you can make a points on how like is. I know this is sort of like comparing like apples to bananas, but it's like with series A such as Overlords, there is many times a case made where it's like, oh well, are they actually a villain? You know, from like a utilitarian standpoint, isn't like what they're doing like good actually? And like I wasn't gonna be that strict on
No.
you, Cal, when it comes to like what is and isn't a villain anime.
Well,
But,
okay,
like,
if we're going off that, then I would say Moonlit Fantasy once again, because he is technically the villain of the story, I guess, since like he's going directly against the gods, essentially. In the story, he's basically portrayed as like the overarching villain, at least from where I'm at in the story. He's portrayed as like kind of like the overarching villain, and he is kind of the demon lord, but not really. Like I'm thinking of stories where like the main character is like inherently the villain. Example, Overlord, in my opinion, is inherently the villain of the story.
Okay then, if you want to have a more strict definition, which I'm fine with, allow me to pull up a couple then. Okay then. Tanya the Evil is like a pretty blatant example.
Ah, fuck, I forgot about that one.
I had never watched it.
It's a, I wouldn't say bad one. It's a unique one.
I think out of all the like isekai, it's like less sloppy, but still, I think it does like with the specific problem that we decided to mention, it does like have massive glorification when it comes to really bad shit. Really, man.
Yeah, so the issue is that it is meant to be the young man's like fantasy essentially, which unfortunately is a very messed up fantasy. It's also why slavery is heavily depicted in the genre as well.
We appreciate you mentioning this.
Yeah, what you call it.
Thank you for the segue, Cal.
It's perfect. Glad to be of help. Where slavery, usually women are very degraded in this medium as well, because again, it's like the young adult male fantasy essentially, which is a very messed up fantasy, and it's a big issue I've had with genre for a very long time because of it. It's not really an aspect I can defend for moral reasons. Listen, Lizardman not being human, I'll stand on that take any day of the week. But once we start getting to this aspect, I have to like draw the line somewhere. And it's like, I personally can't defend the points because it's messed
By
up.
the way, to make sure this is like made apparent to like the audience, the problem itself will not be the fact the MC is a villain. The most famous anime that have been made, many are the MC isn't like a really good person. Examples being a Code Geass, Death Note, stuff like this. The problem is that like isekai will specifically be a genre where you are supposed to put yourself in the shoes the MC has. And then so like it feels a little bit worse that like, oh well, you see slavery is good actually when I do it.
Yeah. Hey, I couldn't defend Naofumi after he bought a slave.
But now for me is
What?
different, okay? Now for me is different. He did it. He technically bought a slave, but you see, here's the thing: he like raised the slave and let it be their own person. Even though no, they look human enough. Okay, they can get the pass.
Oh wow.
Essentially, they're less
Okay.
of a slave and more so a person they freed from slavery, to the point where they even wanted to let them free, but they didn't want to go. So is that really a bad thing?
See, I institutionally
Is Stockholm
support
Syndrome a bad
slavery.
thing?
Stockholm
Well, that is all.
Syndrome is made up by the woke agenda, I'll have you know. It doesn't exist, okay? You're just used to the environment you're in.
Okay, by the way, Cal, he like actually tortured her. So
He tortured her so she could survive. Okay, she was about to die,
what?
and she was
Yeah,
like, and then
okay,
he was like,
no, never mind. This really is a 1v1v2. I don't. Like,
Yeah, dude. Cal's dying on Slavery Hill. Slavery.
That's like
I'm
saying,
just
"Oh, my dad
saying.
beat me, so now I'm a stronger person."
Okay, no.
That's literally what you're
This was a
saying, bro.
life or death situation. They were both about to die if she didn't stab that monster.
No,
Okay.
no. Before that,
okay, but
she
moving
was
on
making
to
her
some other
fight
points.
monsters.
Oh wait, hold
She
up. I
didn't
gotta
want
make
to.
this really. Okay, wait, hold up. I gotta make this really fast point. By the way, this stuff from like Shield Hero won't have been as bad if they actually decide to reference the fact it's bad, but it like comes up a little bit and then just sort of like is skimmed past.
Is glossed over. Is like
As it should be.
So Yuri.
But
Bro, you can't say this type of stuff, Cal.
do you guys have any other points? If I'm asking.
You have a
Yeah, I
couple
take
more.
back everything I say. I think this is a base take of the genre.
Your guys' next point then?
Well, I sort of want to turn the tables a little bit since this feels a little.
Honestly,
Is there some?
I'm
Is there
surprised.
some?
I'm surprised you guys have mentioned the reverse kind of isekai moment, the reverse isekai stuff yet.
But like, I did want
I
to
I
say, is there
okay.
some? Is there some?
I feel like reverse isekai is its like own thing because it's like it's more like what I would like to see more of, like beings from a medieval type place get put in our modern world. I think more of that would be
God,
interesting.
is that Elf Girl technically a reverse isekai series?
What elf girl? Which one?
Oh, the really
Which one? You said elf and
Listen,
okay.
isekai.
okay, here's the issue with elves and isekai, okay? I love how in the standard isekai slopfest, the main the biggest trope is that the MC gets elf pussy at some point. I think it's such a base trope. It's so funny.
I think it's cringe. I think it's
It
cringe.
happens
Subaru
every
wishes.
time.
Subaru wishes. Subaru wishes.
Flash, what I mean is a plus size elf. That's what I mean.
Okay then. I was okay.
Oh,
Wait,
I think I know about that.
past this point. Is there like positive stuff you two want to mention in isekais? Like, what are some positive points you can?
The actually somewhat rare genre of isekai where the MC can where the MC can transport go from each world. For example, this is going to be an obscure fucking manga. I know that. For example,
Don't
like
worry, you've already made obscure takes. It's nothing new.
the gunner life of a middle-aged man surrounded with another world and armed with rifles. Basically enough, it's a isekai anime where we can go between each world, except he has an army of airsoft weapons that are actually, once they're transported to the other world, are actual guns. Like he
Bro
has a
thinks he's
shit ton.
Gilgamesh.
What the
Listen,
fuck is this? I want to make this very clear. If you have not watched anime before and this is your first introduction to anime, ignore this. We're talking about a pretty God, I am meant to be different. It's a pretty shit genre if I'm being honest. Don't let this be your segue into anime. Go watch actual good shit, okay? Not what
No,
Yuri
wait.
just said.
Let this be your segue. Let it be your segue. Okay.
but for
And
example,
if
like
you don't
that
like
one
it,
where
blame him.
Blame
Yeah,
Yuri.
what's up? What the fuck?
yeah, sure, blame me. But once again, with that one, it feels like, but even though it feels like yes, the ha ha ha, like I'm a typical I'm a typical male MC. I have a really unique ability, but it's a thing of it's with like each enemy they encounter, they think of a way to counter, like oh crap, like this one isn't working, but this one will definitely work. They've a unique way to actually deal with enemies, which is really fun to be honest.
Title's too
I haven't
long,
seen what
don't
you
care.
crazy.
Oh yeah, we didn't even bring up the fact that isekai titles are getting longer and longer.
I think it's
Well,
Definitely,
it's more
I,
like
so
a
I can't even lie.
funny. I got
it's more
transported
like
into
an
another
equally.
world as a computer with a CPU chip that can allow me to activate my cheat powers whenever I like 3000.
Or some other fun isekai like Pokemon Mystery Dungeon.
If isekai were like good, except the fact that titles are really extensive, that's like a non-point. I don't know. I guess Mystery Dungeon falls beneath isekai, but it's like, eh.
It's
So
an isekai.
Does Kingdom Hearts technically
it's
count as an
not an
isekai?
argument.
Yeah,
I
like so does
think
Mario and Sonic. No, but I don't think we normally could see that as an isekai.
I tried to bring up some other isekai stuff that's not anime.
But we're
Mario and
discussing the
Sonic isn't
anime
anime.
genre. That's quite literally the whole point of this. We made that very clear.
I think Kingdom Hearts does not count as isekai because it takes place like basically in
No, he's getting transported
the
to
same
other
place.
worlds.
No, I'm pretty sure. Don't they go by ship?
Yes, they do.
Oh, I don't think that counts as an isekai.
Kingdom Hearts is not an isekai. I don't want to get into the long list of Kingdom Hearts.
Okay, well, I've only played like up to like Alice in Wonderland level of the first game and rage quit. So
They should give Goofy a gun.
Trust me,
I
it's not
think
as
it would
bad.
be funny.
It's not as bad as Pinocchio. It's not as bad as
Yeah,
Pinocchio.
dude. What
Not as
if
bad as
Mickey,
Pinocchio.
Donald, Goofy were sent to a different world?
I think that would be
That's an isekai
funny.
that I'll watch.
That would be funny.
Isn't that like
I would listen. There are some good non-humans, okay, and there are some of the non-good ones, okay. I would also consume it.
why are you on your racist arc, bro?
It's not racism. It's just correct. I don't know what the issue here is.
Okay, why are your speciesism arc?
Anyway, do you guys have any points you want to have more points you want to make?
Oh yeah, what I meant to praise the genre. Let me think.
Oh my god.
I think
I have
here's
some
a
good stuff.
This is maybe going to be a lost episode, boys. I don't know.
Yeah. Here's my take with it. I think in the mass amount of slop, there are like a few really good gems. In the sense, I feel like when an isekai is done right, it excels. Like, for example, Konosuba, I haven't watched it, but I can only assume ReZero's up there. Like, it's always talked about. As controversial as it is, I would unironically put Jobless Reincarnation up there to a certain extent. Not as high, but I would put it up there. And like Moonlit,
you have defended what Rudy does in the series.
I don't have
Defend
defended
him,
what
Cal.
he does. I just think it makes for a compelling story for a character arc. Okay, hold on. That's like saying,
I don't want to follow a pedophile.
which is fair. That's a valid criticism. Okay, but to go on that point, isn't that go on the point Defun made, where like from how I took it, essentially you're saying if I watch a show and like it, I agree with the MC.
Well, I'll say that no, well, sort of no. In like isekai. Okay, no. In basic narrative structure, you are supposed to root when the MC is stuck into. I guess there's like maybe a really niche exception, but normally in series you are supposed to follow the MC because you're supposed to you're supposed to be rooting with the stuff that they're up to. Are you like watching Rudy specifically to watch this dude fail? What's the reason you watch the series then?
A little bit. Like I like how so I think to me what compels me with Jobless Reincarnation, and it switches throughout the series, where at the very beginning, what draws me in is one, I'll be real, the animation. The animation in the show is like really, really good, especially like the water physics. There's a reason, even after like 5 years after the first season came out, that one water scene gets spread around the internet a lot. It's animated very well. I personally liked it because, again, it was stereotypical isekai, so it was like kind of slop. But then I want to say about like episode 3 or 4, we get to start seeing what makes it good. And that is Rudy is kind of a bad MC. And I think that's really interesting to see this extremely, extremely flawed individual and how they're going to progress through the journey.
Essentially, to you, it's a character study.
Yes, that's my thing. I think because what I'm most fascinated about is Rudy as a character. Like there is and for people who haven't watched it, this is going to make no fucking sense. There is a reason one of my favorite arcs in the show is the erectile dysfunction arc, because it's a full character study on him, what you call it, and where he wants to be and where his journey is progressing. Now, is there a bunch of like, is Rudy a good person? No. Would I want to be friends with Rudy? Fuck no. But seeing it through a third person's point of view and seeing how the character journey progresses, especially with the people around him as well, I find very compelling.
I did have a direct response.
This is a lost episode.
I did look into Jobless Reincarnation, and my biggest problem, Cal, will be that many try and like, with all the different like community stuff that I've seen, it feels like many try and explain the reason Rudy is shitty, and it feels like partially a justification. And
I will say I have seen this, and yeah, I don't have that take with them. I think Rudy's just inherently a shitty individual.
Okay, then.
What you call it? Like, I'm not going to sit here and defend saying Rudy is in the right in any regard. I just like the journey and character study that we get along the way. I think the fact that Rudy is inherently a shitty person is what makes it compelling, if I'm being
Okay,
honest.
then that's like my response.
I think
Uh,
that if there's an anime where the main character is just a terrible person, I think that it should go like this. I think they should have Spider-Man type look. Like something good happens, something way worse happens. Something good happens, something way worse happens.
Yeah, it's
You're
a really
basically
weird one.
describing Jobless Reincarnation. I'll be honest.
But
Really?
That honestly, yeah. A lot like there are a lot of points in the series where it's like we're so back and then it's like what the fuck we're so over. For example, and I guess kind of do you guys care if I spoil a little bit?
no.
Not really.
What
Hello
you
there, Mutok. Jobless Reincarnation spoilers here.
Yeah,
Timestamp edit
like
this.
essentially what happens that Rudy's life is going pretty well. He basically goes to like the capital, is like learning magic, is like getting with the family or whatever. And then a massive explosion happens and he's sent to the other side of the fucking world.
But like
That's
physically, with like a cartoon. What?
No, like it is essentially transported to the other side of the world and he has to journey back and finding out like who survived and who didn't. That like massive explosion. Like, and there are multiple points in the series where something similar happens where it's like there's like a good routine going, things are going well, and then like everything flips upside down and we're so fucking over again. Like it's a constant spear of we're so back, it's so over. Which is another thing I really like. There's not like a momentum. I think an issue I also have with isekais is that after a little bit, it feels very much the same in the sense like not just in the genre as a whole, series to series, where it's kind of like you're kind of going through the motions. For example, I'm so sorry, Yuri, the business anime one, the reason I stopped watching is because this was the format basically every episode, which was a businessman doesn't feel adequate in a certain way. We have this problem. What you call it? Let's go investigate this problem. Oh my god, how are we gonna fix this problem? Wait, this real world experience I have can come into play. Kind of looks like he's gonna fail, but somehow outsmarts them is rewarded. And that's essentially the layout of most of the episodes, which is why I could only get to like episode 6 until I dropped it. I think a really good isekai can subvert that, where it's like you're in a different world where like random shit can happen. I think that random messed up stuff should happen to derail the story to a certain degree. It's why I would say like my top 3 is like Moonlit Fantasy, Jobless Reincarnation, and Konosuba, is because the randomness in this world is like very much implied and it drives the story.
And I was gonna say like with like what Cal said earlier, like there can be hidden gems. Like for example, for me, trapped in a dating sim, the world of Ultimate games.
What
for
the
mobs.
fuck?
Okay, wait. We've been cutting Xander off a lot. We need to let
Yeah.
him talk.
That's right. I haven't actually yeah. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Flash. Or another one, which I'm surprised you haven't brought this up yet, Cal. The Red Ranger becomes an adventure in another world.
I haven't
I'm
seen it.
I swear to God, you said you
I-
watched that one.
I haven't.
You lied to me.
I didn't.
You told me you watched it.
When I want proof of this. I never. I said I watched a Power Rangers like one where it's love world domination or something
Oh,
like
that's
that.
right.
That's the one
Never
I
mind.
watched, but I haven't watched that one.
Ah, fudge.
Allow
No,
me to say, Yuri. As much as I like tokusatsu slop, what you just said there is like a pretty sloppy anime. I'm gonna keep it.
I really can't have shit stuff.
I'm so sorry. All the ones you say you like are slop, which isn't bad, right? Like I said, I like some of the slop. I really like the first season of the vending machine anime because it's slop and it's funny.
I read a ton of isekai slop too.
Yeah, what you call it. But like the points you're making to give Isekai a good rep is not working here. Like for example, I really liked Demon Lord Reincarnation. Or I guess that is one where he's technically a villain now that I think about it. I did kind of like season 1. Like if I were to like rank Isekai, it would be up there, but I would not put it for like defending Isekai as a whole because it's still very much slop.
I've only seen like 3 to 4 isekai series. There really wasn't much for defending.
What? You don't
Didn't you suggest it?
it.
Okay, then.
Wait,
See
didn't you
you
suggest
all.
this idea,
That is
though?
episode
I could've
2.
sworn-